Today it's looking like a gold short is cooking as well as a potential Bitcoin long. This is the daily entry. I'm bringing you day trading setups on the NASDAQ, Dow Jones, oil, gold, and of course, BTC. Let's go. Now, we have seen the NAS and the Dow pretty slow, Bitcoin pretty slow as well, and there's a lot hanging over our heads at the moment. We've got the war situation, which appears to be escalating. We've got both sides demanding compensation, and then we've got CPI and PPI this week. So basically a pressure cooker here at the moment for us, leading into what is going to be a super volatile couple of days. Now, let's jump into the first one that we need to pay attention to. This is oil, and as you can see, things are super bullish with the latest war news that is unfolding at the moment. So what am I tracking now for oil? So interestingly, we have had a strong oil pump, and these other assets have relatively remained pretty calm. In fact, we could have expected much more selling on some of these other assets. So right now, what am I looking at for oil? I would expect some kind of rejection here at this 86 into 87 region. This makes sense. That is the top of the candle close when we had that initial gap. So that was the candle close on the 31st of July. So 86 into 87, this is looking like a rejection zone here on oil, and that could maybe be a bounce catalyst in some of these other markets. Now, if oil keeps screaming higher, the next big area is going to be around that 90 mark. So I don't really want to know what these assets are going to look like if oil keeps on grinding like that. But right now, I'm using it as a guide. I'm not looking for a specific oil trade yet at the moment, just really using this to see where these other assets could potentially react. Now, let's start with the NAS here and take a quick look. We've got three main tradable zones for me of interest today. So if we drop lower down, I've got zone number 1, 29,500. This looks like a mini banger over here. Look at that little wicks over there, 0.5. So that's looking good. If there is more pressure during the course of the day, let's say oil explodes or something along those lines, look how beautiful this is here. Look at those wicks. Look at that 50-day MA, and note this VWAP is starting to scream up here in this area. So that next long zone is going to be 29,360. I think both of these could reasonably give us a decent bounce, 1-to-1, 2-to-1 bounce. So if it goes any more, obviously, that would be a nice bonus, but essentially we just want to see a short-term move on some of these assets. Now, if the NAS keeps climbing, we haven't taken out the wicks that I wanted to see taken out yesterday for yesterday's main short. So I do believe this is still on the table, 29,950 at the moment, unless we get some major catalyst out there. I'm not really expecting fresh highs on the NAS, but anything can obviously happen. So look out for that short over there, 29,950, looking interesting there for us. Remember, all of these charts, they go into the Chart Hackers Discord for you guys directly after the show. You can find them all waiting for you over there. Let's get into the next big one here. This is the Dow, and very choppy at the moment. In fact, we haven't seen conditions like this in the Dow in quite a long time now with this type of chop, and this is leading us into a squeeze between these two big VWAPs, and we can see something big is cooking here at the moment. So in terms of zones, I would say reasonably we can look for a short 54,100. Look out to take these wicks out. We hit this VWAP and then we get some kind of rejection. So that would be short zone number 1, 54,100, looking interesting to me on the Dow. So sweep of those highs. Then where can we look for longs? Well, we keep it simple. Remember these wicks that I covered earlier in the week. You can see this region over here. We are looking for that to get tapped. You can see it is still untapped. So that is my local long zone, 53,700, looking interesting there to me. Now, in terms of the short zones, they're identical to the zones from yesterday. It's not often we have such a quiet Dow, but you can see 54,366 and 54,530 looking pretty good to me on the Dow. Let's take a look at gold. Now, where is the next short? So I just want to show you guys something interesting in terms of gold. Each time this thing is pushed up, it's rejected at a nice level and given us quite a nice rebound. You can see, look at this next one as well, pumped into that zone, hit the short zone, fell over. So you can see what's happened again, hit another level and rejected. So if we're going to follow the same principle, we really just want to watch a major marker. And what's a major marker for me? This blue line is the 200-day moving average. We also have some fib action and some wicks in that region. So 4,500, I would say, is the next obvious short zone for us, where we can at least get a 1-to-1, 2-to-1 reaction here on gold. So that is going to be the big one for me today, and that might possibly be the major reversal on gold. Look at that oscillator. Just as this thing carries on, we're printing lower highs on the oscillator and we are printing higher highs on the price, and at some point all of this divergence is going to play out. So that 4,500 could be the banger for gold, guys. Keep your eyes on that. You can see my alarm is on this chart. Now let's talk about Bitcoin. Look at this lickies here to the upside and the downside. Look at all this liquidity sitting down to 63k, and at the upside, look at that, 65.2 into 66. So what does that mean? It means they become easy targets in volatile conditions for these market makers to have a little bit of fun. So let's keep that in mind when we start looking at some key zones here for Bitcoin. Now, in terms of the major areas that make sense to me, I'm really interested in this long at 63.5. We've got our 50-day MA, we've got our wick sitting in that zone, and we've got a local 618 fib. So in terms of where do traders step in, where can I see some kind of movement if we drop later on today, I would say 63.5 into 63.2 looking like our most obvious long zone for Bitcoin for today. Now, obviously, we are sitting on a local bounce zone that I covered on the show. We actually took a long from slightly higher yesterday on the show, and I'm still sitting in that. But at the moment, I'm not looking for much on Bitcoin other than some kind of lower high. So locally here, I would say 64.5 and 64.8 are the most obvious short-term rejection zones to take us into this long zone over here. So not necessarily looking for these local shorts. I'm more interested in that bounce long off the 50-day MA. And then if there is a screamer, guys, look at that liquidity sitting up here. I still think 65,900, 66k could be a massive target for us at some point. But the question is, do we have enough fuel to get there from this current level that we're on, or do we have to drop lower down and then send it up higher into that zone? So that is how I'm viewing Bitcoin here at the moment, only looking for that long 63.5 into 63.3. Okay, so guys, keeping it tight today. CPI tomorrow, war news like constantly on the horizon over here. Let's play it safe for now. Let's keep it nice and tight. That's your daily entry for today. I'll see you on the live trading with the Chart Hackers YouTube up here later on today. Catch you later.